Hey folks, this is Rhykker at Blizzcon 2016.
At long last, here's my BlizzCon 2016 Diablo Roundup video. I've been waiting on Blizzard for approval to use some Necromancer footage we recorded at BlizzCon, but I've given up on that because this video is already super late. So here's the too long didn't watch version of this video. At BlizzCon 2016, there was no announcement of a new Diablo game or expansion, but instead, a ton of new content for Diablo 3 was announced, including the Necromancer class coming as paid DLC, and a Diablo 1 themed event, along with a ton of quality of life changes, and some new game-changing features coming for free. I got more than I expected out of BlizzCon, and I think this BlizzCon gave us some promising signs for the future of the Diablo series. That's the too long didn't watch. So, going into this year's BlizzCon, my expectations were set fairly low. If you've been following my videos and streams, you'll know that the closer we got to BlizzCon, the more time I spent debunking rumors and expressing that all I was expecting was an expansion or a big patch 2.5. I was hoping for more, but since the unannounced project had just hired a game director weeks before BlizzCon, I knew it was too early in development for a reveal. When the Necromancer artwork leaked days before BlizzCon, I figured that's what the big Diablo news for BlizzCon would be. Necromancer coming to D3. So that's what I'm expecting to see as I'm sitting there at the opening ceremony and the Diablo segment starts. And who comes on stage to talk about Diablo? None other than Frank Pierce, Blizzard Chief Development Officer, and one of the 3 original founders of Blizzard. I was really surprised. Frank Pierce and Mike Morhaime are the 2 most important people at Blizzard. They could have gotten someone from the Diablo team, but Frank Pierce himself chose to come up and talk about what's coming to Diablo. I found there to be a surprising lack of acknowledgement from the community of the magnitude of having Pierce come talk about Diablo, and his ensuing quote about Blizzard's commitment to the franchise.
We're grateful to everyone who has supported Diablo over these past 20 years, and we're committed to this franchise for the long term.
Having Frank Pierce come out there and affirm that Blizzard cares about Diablo really is a big statement that I don't see enough people talking about. Long term means he wants another 20 years of Diablo, and that obviously implies more Diablo games to come. For more on what Pierce announced was coming to Diablo, here's an on-site video of my initial reaction after the BlizzCon opening ceremony.
So we just saw the opening ceremony, BlizzCon 2016. Some crazy stuff happened. Obviously, I'm here covering Overwatch and Diablo. We got all the people now exiting from the opening ceremony, quite a crowd, but 2 super exciting things for Overwatch. One for Overwatch, one for Diablo. So the big Diablo news was leaked, the Necromancer coming to Diablo 3, but there was more. But wait, there's more. And that was actually Diablo 1 is being remade in Diablo 3. And I wasn't sure if he was being serious or facetious about it, but they want to recreate the experience. So they're even putting filters, in-game graphical filters, to make it look like lower graphical quality. It's going to be gritty, which I believe, but then he also said to make it look pixelated. I hope that's not the case. Also, he says you can only move in 8 directions instead of the full 360, because back in the day, right, you didn't have full freedom of movement, so you can only move along certain axes of directions. I hope that's not the case, but I guess it makes sense if you really want to recreate the Diablo 1 experience. But all the bosses will be in there. It'll be the full playable Diablo 1 game, all 16 or whatever levels in Diablo 3. That's amazing. That's all coming for free. Necromancer's coming 2017. I think that was as paid DLC. I think he said available to purchase through the character pack, but regardless, it's I was expecting the Necromancer, so it seems like it's not an expansion. It is not Diablo 4. I still think they have something in the works, but they just haven't announced a new Diablo game. But not an expansion. Seems like a huge patch 2.5, just more massive content coming to Diablo 3, and to make old school Diablo fans happy with the Necromancer, with Diablo 1. Awesome stuff is happening in the world of Diablo and Overwatch.
So in this clip, I say that Diablo 1 is being remade in Diablo 3, but that's not actually true. I feel a lot of us got that impression, and it's because of how Frank Pierce put it. What we're actually getting is a Diablo 1 themed experience in Diablo 3. You're still playing Diablo 3, it's not actually Diablo 1 remade in Diablo 3, but Rather, it's a Diablo 1 themed Rift dungeon. They really could have marketed this better or more clearly, but they really do go all out in making this experience feel as close to Diablo 1 as possible, while still running this in Diablo 3. We got the full 16 dungeon levels, including special areas like the Halls of the Blind, and special mechanics to access hidden areas. We got the familiar D1 boss fights like the Butcher, who was reskinned to look like the original Butcher. We have custom artwork for a bunch of Diablo 1 items that drop, like Arcane's Valor and the Butcher's Cleaver. We have the awesome old school music, a bunch of the old sound effects, and they even put a ton of effort into making everything look like a game from the 90s. Now, as you heard, I initially wasn't sold on the idea of the retro visual filters, but when I got to play the event, they work. And overall, I found the event really fun. If you go in expecting to play a Diablo 3 Rift, then you'll be pleasantly surprised by everything that's been done to make the experience feel reminiscent of Diablo 1. And if you want a real challenge like original D1, then play solo on Torment 1 with no follower and a fresh level 1 character. The Butcher fight had me crapping my pants, just like the good old days, chasing me around and around. Even though I knew what was coming, I saw the bloodstains leading into the room, he still managed to scare the shit out of me. I really loved how grim, dark, and bloody they made Diablo 3 look. The event will run throughout the month of January every year to celebrate Diablo's anniversary. And while I'm not a fan of time-gated content and was initially unhappy to learn this, once you've played the event once or twice, you'll likely be done with it, so I'm actually not disappointed that you can only play it 1 month of the year. It's like a Halloween event or a Christmas event. You know, there's not enough content there to keep it running all year round, so it becomes something special and something to look forward to by making it time restricted. As for the Necromancer, I got to play him at Blizzcon. As I said, I'm not sure we're allowed to use the footage we captured, so I'm pretty bummed out that I'm not going to be able to show you the actual footage, so instead I've overlaid footage from Big Daddy Den's Blizzcon stream. Big Daddy Den is one of the original Diablo 3 streamers. He's an awesome guy and one of the best Witch Doctor players out there, so go check him out on Twitch and follow his guides on YouTube.
Alright folks, this is our first look at the Necromancer of Diablo fan favorite in Diablo 3 right here. Like, it is glorious to see him in like full modern graphics. Here are his abilities that we're going to be playing with. Siphon Blood. Siphon the blood from your enemies, dealing weapon damage as physical, and restores essence. Siphon Blood heals you every second while channeled. Bone Spear. Oh yes. Corpse Explosion. Oh boy. Blood Rush. Shed your mortal flesh and reappear yards away, passing through most obstacles. Necromancer got to teleport, folks. Oh boy. Command Skeletons. Command your skeletons to attack the target and increase their damage. So we got a pet class that could actually control his pets. We've been wanting this for the Witch Doctor forever. If I'm interpreting this correctly, that's gonna be amazing. Passive. Raise the skeletons from the ground. So you passively raise skeletons. That's gonna be insane, guys. So what are our powers here? Command skeletons. Let's see if we can command them to attack the backline. Yes, full command of the skeletons. Siphon is actually your generator. It seems like a pretty boss generator too. Corpse Explosion. Oh man, we just gotta boom all the corpses now. This is gonna be great. God, the Corpse Explosion is so satisfying. I haven't even been using my Bone Sphere here. Oh my gosh. Yes. So this definitely feels distinct from the Witch Doctor. Obviously, the first concern when we saw that the Necromancer would be revealed, or something that people said that the Necromancer can never come because it would be redundant with the Witch Doctor, but from this experience, it does not at all feel redundant. Again, the way we passively generate pets, and that you have to control them, it makes it such a more satisfying pet class, I feel. It's a more active playstyle, which I think is a common complaint about the pet classes. And Corpse Explosion, just super fun.
Now, I had to contain my excitement and speak quietly because there were other people around, but that is one very hyped Rhykker. If you've been following my videos, you know that artwork for Sombra and the Necromancer were leaked days before BlizzCon, which heavily suggested to me that we'd see the Necromancer announced for D3 at BlizzCon. So I wasn't blown away by the reveal. However, what I did not expect was just how well implemented and downright fun the Necromancer would be to play. The Necromancer was my first Diablo 2 character. It'll always have a special place in my heart. I named him Sauron. I'll always fondly remember first experiencing Diablo 2 through the lens of the Necromancer. But the Diablo 3 Necromancer that I played feels like the D2 Necromancer dialed up to 11. And I can safely say that playing the D3 Necromancer was even more fun than playing my original Diablo 2 Necromancer. A price wasn't announced for the Necromancer DLC, they don't have a price yet, but looking at the StarCraft 2 DLC, which is a fair point of comparison, I think we can expect something around $10. So day 2 of BlizzCon comes, right? And I'm expecting nothing more at this point. I thought everything important was said on day 1, but it turns out the team saved a bunch of stuff to reveal on day 2, and I was blown away. An armory is coming to Diablo 3, a feature that lets you save 5 builds per character for easy build swapping. This is huge and something we've been wanting forever, and is possibly the feature I'm most excited about. Build swapping is so tedious right now, particularly if your Greater Rifting build is not similar to your farming build. Seasons are coming to consoles, along with a hint that hacking issues will be addressed somehow. Better crafting materials management and other quality of life changes we've been asking for are coming. Better Greater Rift density, 6 updated legendary items, cool wings. Oh, reflex damage as a mechanic is changing completely. It's now going to be a projectile that can be dodged. That's a pretty huge change to gameplay that I know will make Demon Hunters' lives a lot easier. Also coming in the future will be something called Challenge Rifts, which is as close to a direct, fair competitive mode that we can get. Basically, on a weekly basis, time frame still up for debate, some random person will have their Greater Rift clear snapshotted, both the character they used and the rift itself. Then everyone gets to play that exact character in that exact rift and compete for the best time. It's a really interesting concept that brings something completely new to the game, and internally, the Diablo team loves this feature. I'm a tad skeptical, because a big part of Diablo, I thought, was a sense of ownership of a character that you've built. But given we live in an age where most people get power leveled and immediately adopt a cookie cutter build that some pro gamers developed and some YouTuber makes a guide about, I suppose using someone else's character isn't all that different after all. We also got a closer look at the 2 new zones coming to the game and new monsters. Also, senior designer Wyatt Cheng hit the stage with a "Hey folks."
Hey folks.
So that was pretty fun. We did it, Reddit! So basically, my takeaway from BlizzCon is that after months of evidence to the contrary, Diablo 3 is not entering maintenance mode. Or it's coming out of maintenance mode now that the team thought of a way to fund future content through a new revenue source, character packs. The way they spoke about the Necromancer character pack, it wouldn't surprise me to see at least one more character come in the future, and my money would be on the Druid. Beyond that, new posts for the unannounced Diablo project continue to go up, even now after BlizzCon, so we can look forward to that reveal at a future BlizzCon. So overall, I'm happy with BlizzCon. All I want is to see the Diablo franchise continue to be supported by Blizzard. I thought Diablo 3 would no longer get content, but now we're basically getting an expansion's worth of content, if you include everything we've gotten since Reaper of Souls and what's to come. You know, apart from a new campaign act, and honestly, I'd rather see the Diablo story continued in a new game anyway, and I look forward to seeing what that game is when Blizzard is ready to unveil it. But apart from all that, my favorite part of BlizzCon was the community. Getting to meet some of the devs and community managers, getting to meet members of the Diablo 3 community like streamers Datmods and Big Daddy Den, Nineball and Leviathan from the West March Workshop, Forum MVP Miss Cheetah, Diablo 3 Forum MVP Monstrous, the Diablo subreddit mods, as well as viewers like you. It was awesome to get to meet you folks, and thanks to everyone who took the time to come say hi to me. I've had some people say that they were either too shy to come up or didn't want to bother me. Please, always feel free to come up to me. I'm always super happy to meet you guys. And we also got to meet this guy right here, who allegedly was seen making out with someone during the Hodor concert, which just goes to prove that Deckard Cain's got more game than the rest of us. You've got quite a treasure there, in those Horodric boobs. That wraps up this video. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. Check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhyker's Raiders, and stay up to date on Diablo news.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but J-How checking in here. Excited to see the reveal of Diablo 6. I don't have more words to say. The air's so dry here, it's like messing with my voice like big time. Cause hey folks, this is Rhykker.
Hey folks, this is Rhykker. Was that good?
Close.
Close?
Almost there.